Okay, we're going to take a look at the new backyard configuration. And in order to do so, we start with the new French doors. Dull beers out there. So, we have new French doors. Wooden frames are not all sanded and prepared yet. So there's some painter's putty on them right now. But this is a sense of what the living room is like now. As you sort of come from over here and you come out these doors. We have this landing made of flagstone. Really just completed yesterday, because yesterday was the day when the sealer was put on. And then there's another flagstone deck where we have the furniture. We just put the furniture out. In fact, I see a tag revealed on the outside of one piece. Dolby, there's a tag on the outside of that thing. It looks kind of funny.
Take it off and make it more
Okay.
decent.
Now these stones that are on the ground are temporary. I'm not sure we're going to keep them. I was looking for something smaller and a little bit different color, but having washed them today, their color is kind of shaping up a little bit. So I'm going to walk over here and we'll get another view of everything. The fence is way up the hill now. There no longer is a fence here by the V-ditch. Yeah, things are kind of torn up. We haven't started any kind of planting. The fence was moved this week. Really, again, just yesterday is when everything's kind of came together. So, here we have this deck. The idea is to walk from the stones onto the edge of the deck when you're walking this away. And now we come to the wooden deck, which has been painted. Sanded and painted, or power washed and painted. We're thinking of putting more flagstone around the hot tub here. And here we have this view. We've got these, I guess you can call them horse troughs, these galvanized containers that have been yielding a lot of vegetables, a lot of tomatoes. And then we've added a lattice here. At the foot of the lattice is earth that we can use for planting. There's some electronics for the hot tub and water for the deck plants right here in front of the lattice. Hence the lattice is set back a little bit to accommodate access to all that. And there's another similar lattice across the way. The purpose for this lattice is to give us more blockage with our neighbors. They have a deck up here, and we're hoping that our plants, I guess what's it called, a potato vine, will grow up that lattice. We have these 3 whiskey barrels that are currently sort of being stored right here. I'm thinking that we may use them to create some height differentiation in this area. So this is where we used to have 3 loropetalum right where the camera is now, and they're gone now. And that opens up the view here. And you can see we've added railroad ties right here to create a walkway. And if we just walk up here, this is pretty, the dirt here is dirty. And I know, Leslie, that you're coming out in October. We're going to have something happen with this dirt before October. So we have to put a mulch on it or something if we don't plant before October. So now I'm up on the hill. So here we are at the gate. And now we're looking down. Down at the V-ditch. Down into the neighbor's yard. A little funny there looking at their yard. As far as planting, we like these madrones up here. Are these madrones or manzanita? They're madrones. So these are nice. This particular little oak is not a favorite of mine, so I'd like to get rid of it right away, actually. And then there's another little oak here, and I'm not sure what this thing is called over here. And these were on the fence before. This is kind of interesting. It has these little fruiting bodies, these little flowers. And really it was kind of an esplanade kind of plant growing on the fence that isn't here anymore. This little guy, it's either an oak or a holly. Has prickly leaves. I think it should go along with that one there. So, the opportunity we have is to plant this whole hillside here and to plant all around these two flagstone decks and the stones that will be the walkways. Another thing that's kind of interesting to consider is access to the open space. Currently, the way things are framed is that you're going up the side here and then you kind of walk up the V-ditch on the side of the V-ditch. But it is conceivable, given the railroad tie motif that we have introduced, that we could add some railroad ties. And then the question is, where would we do it? There's a short little sprint up the hill that would take place if we did so right out the door. Is that what we want to see? Would you want to open the door and kind of look right out and see some railroad ties going up to the V-ditch, and then you'd walk to the other railroad ties over there? Is that what we want? Or would we rather do it maybe off the deck here, once these whiskey guys move, have some steps right here, similar to those steps right there, and you walk right up and you kind of go very close to where the other railroad ties are. You'd be linking up pretty good there, and you'd build something across the V-ditch. Or again, do you go to the corner there, which is where we currently are? So that's a decision to make. And then with regard to planning here, do we keep these whiskey things? I know they're all falling apart, but they can be re-put together, and they would create some dimension. We could also create dimension by building hills. We could create mounds of soil. And then there's another question that comes to mind in that regard. Like if let's say we did a mound here and a mound here, would we have a few of these stones in between so you can kind of get to those mounds? So these are things that we're thinking about. So as you consider the planting plan, Leslie, this is the lay of the land. This is how it's all going. So I hope this gives you a good look and a good starting point.